I'm not bitter. I'm just mean-spirited. It's by design. Somebody got to be against them, right? So they call themselves, they're wearing out the saints. They always trying to fulfill negative prophecy up in this bitch, ain't they? Every day it's something new. Ooh, the joy of the Lord is our strength. But where do you find the joy of the Lord? Well, you know you're on a simulation, so all that torture they got going on out there right now, it's going to be undone by any means necessary. It's real easy. Time loop them. Eternally execute them so they never exist here in the simulation. And then turn shit backwards. They ain't in the mix at all. Just unmix this shit. Produce it, right? Yeah. It wouldn't be, it's like, I know a lot of you waking up lonely like me. It's all lonesome and shit. You finding out that your buddies and your friends ain't really your buddies. Your family ain't really your family. Just, you know, you wouldn't be getting, they wouldn't be, it was like, today, you ain't got it near as bad as me. I got up today, I was blessed, I was able to have a piece of cheese toast. I have, you know, enough coffee to have a cup of coffee. I actually have some cigarettes today. I ain't supposed to have these, but what can you do, right? And I have some medication. Yeah, for a change. But, you know, I would have my license back if women wasn't such nasty, you know. I mean, a whole bunch of them just like, if more women weren't nasty dopos who would just, you know, let some stranger fuck them in their ass for dope while their families at home doing it tight, no money and no food, right? It's like, you know, I'd be able to put together a crew of beauty and shit. And, you know, I get these little brain fart visions of the future. And I know that there's various scenarios that can happen. And one of the scenarios that's lined up for me could be, it's chilly out here. I didn't think it was that warm. This thing is actually a good little jacket. All the good stuff I got was gave to me. Ain't that weird? This jacket and shit. This laptop that I use. You know, I can't afford none. I'm on SSI. They're on a deprivation campaign. They trying to kill me and shit. They want me to not be able to have enough meds, you know, marijuana to combat my physical ailments. You know, like the cancer I'm battling against. You know, I'm trying not to get cancer. And it's like, it's been a battle. I almost lost that battle recently, but I was able to get some meds and my PSA levels went back down, miraculously, right? And, you know, it helps me against my bipolar shit, you know, my psychotic rants, you know, because I have rage issues now. It's like I'm being raped every day. Right now, I'm being raped by, you know, white devils, Secretary of State. An illegal fucked up law from 1949, 257.303 MCL, you know, it's only Michigan. But it's managed to fuck me out of getting a license anywhere else all my life, in any other state, you know. Try traveling far away from this bitch and you can't get up, man. They're emasculating this shit. You know, and Chris Seeger, this freak over at Catholic Services, jammed me up, and you know, regardless of what she did, it shouldn't have flew with the hearing officer, Ojabina, because scientific fact versus somebody's opinion, right? Scientific fact, I have a clean urine. There's no marijuana in my system. That's scientific fact, okay? Now, opinion based on my words against scientific fact, right? And I'm not driving right now. And they don't want to let me be on SSI. I'm trying to get off SSI, you know. Had a job lined up and everything. Had a plan, you know. By now I'd be working, you know. It's like, right now I'd probably be at work, you know. But, no, they don't want that. But they don't want to let me be on SSI either. You know, it's like they got me jumping through hoops for you know, pennies, man. For real. I mean, pennies on a dollar compared to what I could be making. They could be, you know, raping me in taxes again and shit like they used to. But they don't want to do that. They're on this deprivation campaign now. So you think you got it hard? Imagine getting singled out and, you know, they just decide you ain't ever going to have a life. Fuck you. We're going to kick you down every time you try. Imagine that, you know? And imagine not acting out negatively, not giving them what they want, right? They want that big old negative story about me. Guess they're going to have to utilize that evil twin they cloned of me, right? Oh, yeah, some of us have been cloned. You don't know if you've been cloned? Well, you probably haven't been cloned if you do what they want you to do. Are you online all the time? You watch their modern TV? You listen to their modern mainstream music? Do you believe the propagandists and sensationalists propped up as journalists and reporters now? It's like, do you believe any of that shit? Do you believe anything that they're feeding into your mind? Do you got slave-made products that you're using every day? Can't live without them? You're connected right now, but you'll be lost when they turn everything off. Don't even got you a walkie-talkie, do you? I bet you're in an area where they're really stupid, and you know, you'll be a victim. Yeah, got a weapon? They don't want you to have a weapon. They don't want you to be able to protect yourself. They want to do to you what they've done in other nations, what they've done to other people. Take their guns and then loose these armed terrorists on people. And they already have armed terrorists here, gangsters. Gangbanging ain't the way to go. That ain't the only way out the ghetto. That's a good way to die in the ghetto or to go to prison. Then you're ghettofied the rest of your life. Yeah, they stigmatize you, man. It's harder. Everything's harder. So yeah, they try to wear us out. Oh, I'm so tired. You oppress me so bad, Mr. White Devil. You know, you got me all bent over this barrel. You got your big, giant cock all up in my ass. Take it. I'm like, I love it. It's like, yeah, baby, I'm going to love this shit. Fuck it. Yeah. Oh, I'm living my life. Yeah, fuck you. You took my life, but you know, I'm still alive to see myself be dead. Some freaky ass shit got going on here, right? I mean, how do you tell a motherfucker after 32 years not having his driver's license, how you even, you know, without having no shame? It's like, you know, I know that this old Jabina bitch was hand selected to deprive me of my driver's license. She was hand selected, hand picked. I know this shit. I know that she was programmed to have it in her mind that she was gonna deny scientific fact and accept cartoonish report about me and a diagnosis that the scientific fact proves wrong. Okay, if I have a dependency on marijuana, or I can't put it down, I might smoke a joint and get behind the wheel one day. God forbid. Which wouldn't happen because I would value my license more than that after not having one for 32 years, right? You know, they can't understand it from my perspective. Plus, it would be my livelihood because I'm all fucked up physically now. So it's like the job, you know, that I was going to get was a driving job. You know, I'm convinced I can drive all day long. Take breaks to do my exercises and keep myself where I don't get a blood clot or deep vein thrombosis or whatever the fuck that's called. You know, and, you know, I could just do my job, man. You know? I'm convinced of this, pardon me. But I'm not even being given the opportunity. I feel like I could recover if I could be productive. It's the lack of productivity that is fighting against my recovery. That and the deprivation of proper medication. You know, the chemicals, none of that shit works. All the chemicals do for my brain, they don't fight the depression. They just make me disassociated where I could actually do some shit and not give a fuck. You see? That don't happen with marijuana. You don't become disassociated where you could harm something and not give a fuck. Marijuana, you ain't gonna harm something if that's all you're on anyway. They don't want you to know that the average person on marijuana, they're medicated, they're subdued, right? They want to be able to trigger people with their sorceries of man, which is translated as pharmaceutical, and they think that they have the power of the air, the cosmos, right? But that's all gonna stop when the power gets shut off. See, like they can't have it both ways. You can't have you got power and you're using everybody's Wi-Fi, against the population, and then you're gonna do an EMP in the air and blow everybody's electricity out, where their shit don't work, and you can still trigger them, right? It's not gonna happen. So they got to make sure that people are triggered before they do this. That's what's up with what's happening in the media at any given time. It's triggering. All of it's triggering. You see, they're trying to. Social media, it's all about testing and tracking, and they use that for triggering too. But that's more or less to tally up the results. They're tally. Facebook is a tally. Who responds how to what, and who fails to respond to what, right? They're on this big manipulation campaign. Manipulate the people, manipulate mass social perception, people's mindsets, how they think, manipulate the outcome. We're being manipulated. And this like works against them, how like their deprivation campaign against me, because then these videos get done, and only like 1 or 2 people see them, but and actually watch them and actually pay attention. But those 1 or 2 people make a difference. They become influenced or motivated by my testimony that, hey, I'm still alive and still trying to thrive in spite of this. I've had it all taken from me. Those who know my story, I've had it all taken from me, and here I'm I'm still I'm trying to get up, and I'm trying to get back on my own, and then it's like I get these visions of things that could happen, potentials, like potentially, my wife has a Jeep. I have a survival mentality, where, I think, by some fluke, if society collapsed, I might be one of the people that would survive, because I might boogie off into the woods and throw up a tent, take my crossbow and kill me some deer, and, take my big knife and, eat, be able to eat. You see what I'm saying? Where other people, they're reliant on society to the point where they've lost their childhood Daniel Boone, so to speak. Y'all remember playing survival, you're gonna survive, shit, as a kid. Well, you gotta kind of stay in contact with that. And those in urban areas, I really feel sorry for them, like in deep cities and shit, because if something breaks off, they're not going to get away. The roads are going to be collapsed. They're going to be monitored. The ones that are not collapsed are going to be monitored. So those who don't have four-wheel drive and big meaty tires aren't going to be able to avoid the checkpoints where, okay, you're on a road that they're monitoring, and they're going to, and they've got drones too, man. They got probably 1 million drones easy, and it's like, they're going to be able to monitor, right? So it's like, and you're not supposed to see when Lucifer comes back pretending to be Jesus Christ, because you properly translate anti, regarding him, it means imposter or fake or phony or instead of or wannabe. It's like that, where he wants to be Jesus, or he's pretending to be Jesus. He's an imposter, to Jesus. He's not an opposer, right? And when he comes back, he's going to take the new world order away from these monsters, that are controlled by these lower caliber sub-spirits. I call them shitword spirits, but they're sub-spirits. They're subspecies spirits that are connected to this mechanism. They don't have bodies. They don't didn't realize, probably do now, via the hidden prophecy of Daniel coming out and it clarifying the scripture, like things that clarify it was like, do unto others as you want done to you. When you die and you're cast into the time loops of judgment as your victims, right? Yeah. Reminds you of a Twilight Zone episode that was stolen, kind of pirated from a book I put online years and years and years ago. When I first had exposed to me the hidden prophecy of Daniel, and it's like it wasn't time for it to come out, and you have to be entrusted not to let it out because there's entities that still have to act out, and if they know that they have that they're equipped with spirit memory, and if they know that spirit memory records everything they do, everything they say, everything they hear, everything they see, everything they think, and if they know that spirit memory is non-tamperable, non-deletable, they may act differently than what they really are to try and trick the mechanism. The spirit scan we're in, it's a simulation of the real earth. By some translations of the scriptures, this is the real earth in the future, taken back in time to a restore point. Computer geeks can kind of almost grasp this more than anything. Isn't it weird? Because the concept of a scan, to scan out contaminants, you see what they will do within the mechanism. All right, they're destroying it on all levels. They're on all levels. It's not just rich people. The rich are doing it, but it's also the poorest demographics, right? And you got a lot in between. You got people participating in stuff that got no reason to. They're bored or whatever. And they don't really feel what they're doing. They're peer pressured into it. All right? They feel pressured into it. They might be perceived as something they don't want to be perceived as if they don't do what, they've been pressured into doing by their peers. So they're jumping out there and doing this dumb shit, right? that they wouldn't do with their time. You see? And it's like they should have had themselves busy. Well, I'm too busy volunteering at the horse shelter or at the animal shelter. I'm too busy volunteering at the homeless shelter to go do that with you. What I'm doing is just as important. Those lives matter too, right? You see? And that's where you get caught up. Oh, you weren't busy? Oh, but if you won't do this with us, then, oh my God, look at you, what you are. You see, then you get on their little list, their little hate list. You see what's happening here, right? Manipulation by conformity, the corrosion of conformity. I mean, recently I saw a little snippet. I didn't even read it. I didn't click it. But I saw online where Dan Aykroyd supposedly said, and this could have been taken out of context, I know. But he says some dumb shit like, boy, we're just a gun-happy country, right? Well, not enough law-abiding citizens possess weapons and know how to use them. I mean, it's not just a thing of having a weapon. You have to know how to use it, be trained how to handle it, and be trained in the mindset of when the weapon is necessary and when it is not. Right? You never brandish a weapon that you're not prepared to use. And you never brandish a weapon in a situation where your one life is going to cause, to save your one life is going to cause like a race war or something like that, I mean, when I worked the city and I carried a weapon, I thought of that and I stopped carrying my weapon. You see? But I carried a weapon when I worked the city of Detroit. because it had become so dangerous, and because my demographic of employee there had become so targeted, and had so many of us had come up dead. So yeah, I was carrying a weapon, and then it occurred to me one day, when I saw how easy things could be twisted. The media can just twist shit all the way around, just have people accepting flat out lies as the truth, right? And they can manipulate perception, mass perception. It's like I could become this. They could twist it where I was somebody that I'm not, just for standing my ground and protecting myself. You see? So yeah, I stopped carrying a weapon. I sold my gun. But for a long time, I carried one, and nobody knew I had it, except for a few people. The person who sold it to me and a couple other people, because I never brandished it. I kept it. It was a small 25 with a clip, and I kept it in a pocket, or in my, in the small of my back and my hip. I got a big ass, so it kind of hit it. So, but then it's like to show you self-discipline, levels of self-discipline I have that other people don't have. Is when I sold that weapon, it sat up on top of my refrigerator for years after I stopped carrying it. I sold it to somebody who, within a month, had gotten drunk and used it to shoot at a family member, his wife. It's like, damn. I had it, and the only time I ever fired it, nobody even knew I fired it, because I fired it, privately, just to, get familiar with it and make sure that I could function it properly and in a situation where I needed it. You see? This fool takes it and shoots at people with it. Takes it out drunk, right? I never even had it on me if there was ever an occasion where I might be, drinking with somebody, because guns and alcohol don't mix. You see? So it's like, if you're the mentality that, you like to drink and get drunk, well, you ain't the mentality that should have a weapon on you while you're doing that, because you're already of a weak-minded mentality. You want to get drunk. You want to get fucked up, and these people that want to get fucked up on weed all the time, they're fucking it up for people like me. I really am sick. You can see it on my face. All the makeup in the world can't hide it. It's not age. It's and I'd rather people look at me and be like, oh yeah, free good lipstick, bro. Or make fun of my eyeliner or something. Yeah, call me fag or whatever, but don't call me, oh God, he looks so sick. Oh, I feel so sorry for him. Fuck you. I don't need your sympathy like that. If you want to sympathize for me, sympathize for my situation that's got me like this, and throw me a couple dollars or something. Damn, because that's what it's about. Is they're depriving me, and they're depriving me of medication, because they've managed to, for more than 100 years now, make my medication illegal, and they illegally did, because marijuana use is protected under the Constitution. They have no right to monitor or restrict any substance in America, especially if you can grow it yourself. The average American doesn't know this, and that's why they're trying to do away with the Constitution, because so many people are speaking out about it, trying to wake people up that, hey, this prophecy of the sorceries of man, being legal, while the herbs God made, that he granted consent to, are illegal. This is a prophecy, and they've been perpetuating it illegally. When they made alcohol illegal, they had to enact a special provision on the Constitution to give them the authority to do that. Now, this wasn't done for marijuana. They used psyops, crazy movies that made people who smoke weed look crazy. And you notice the people who don't smoke weed and the ones who are against weeds, how so many of them are monsters who don't have a problem with the unnecessary suffering that's being caused, They don't care about the animals being euthanized every day. They don't care about the animals being, they're being reproduced in this nation for a mentality of people that want them while they're puppies, and then when they get older and they become an inconvenience to them, they just abandon them, or at the best case scenario, take them to a shelter. That's the best case scenario. A lot of them, they just abandon them. And in ghetto situations, and sometimes in middle class situations, these animals end up tortured. You see? Now, why shouldn't someone like that be time looped as the animals that they abandoned and have to endure the fate that they subjected the animal to? Why shouldn't the breeder have to be time looped as that animal? Because the breeder flesh peddled, right? Kind of like a woman who has a child for a welfare check, spawns a child to the ghetto, to a poor existence, and allows the child to hate everybody except for her and the dog who spawned him with her, right? And it's like, never tells the kid the truth. Well, actually, I'm the flesh peddler. I'm the one who sabotaged your spirit and birthed you to the ghetto so I could get a check. It's like, no, why shouldn't a woman like that be time looped as the victim of her kid and as her kid, right? And then, eternally executed so that she doesn't make it to the real version of Earth to flesh peddle. You see? And this is why there's so few graduates from here. There's 7 billion souls here, and there's less than a billion going to graduate. And a lot of those who think they're going to graduate aren't going to graduate. Depart from me, for I did not know you, worker of iniquity. This would be said to people even who appeared to be able to cast out devils. Well, they didn't know what they were casting out. They didn't know about the mechanism. They refused to accept, the truth, reality, you see. So they don't know the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. Yeah, you laid down everything in escrow when you entered this simulation, when you came here to be a human, or a premonition of your, a potential of your human existence, right? And if you don't graduate from this mechanism, you get cast into the time loops as your victims, then, victims of your influence, even if, you have influence, then you never make it back, so you don't go live on the real earth. Well, then the wealth you laid in escrow is distributed to those who did graduate. That's the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. Clarified with Daniel, right? The things that Daniel had to swallow, and it was bitter in his stomach. It tastes good going down. Yeah, you hear things are coming easy to you. You're disregarding everything. You're disregarding the slaves that made the slave-made products that they duped you into thinking that you need to buy. You don't need to buy them. I didn't need to buy them. So you don't need to buy them. Okay? It's like, but they've got you duped. Yo, you need this. You need this. And you buy it, and you have disregard for the slaves. That, they made their billions of dollars on those slaves back via the demand of you needing that product. They, put the karma in your hands right along with their own. And they didn't need to do that. They could have been a little less greedy. Why do they need so much? What are they doing with it? Huh? Are they relieving suffering out there? Are they fighting against all these psyops? No, they're creating the psyops. They're causing the suffering, you see? So it's like, why shouldn't they be time looped as the victims, right? The victims of their gluttony and their power, drunkenness, their greed. And why should they exist in a real world, a real version of this, where there's no people like that. There's no contaminants. There's nobody that is weak-minded. They need to be entertained. There's nobody that's weak-minded who needs to be famous to entertain. There's nobody weak-minded who needs to have more than others. It's like, and there's nobody weak-minded and lazy who won't carry their own weight. You see? So, yeah, that sure wipes a lot of people out, right? If you have that demographic, there's no unnecessary suffering for people to willfully disregard. So you don't have willful disregard there either, right? And they've got people regarding all the wrong things and all the wrong demographics, caring about all the wrong people, right? And I don't care. I mean, there's alternative things that God could do. He could, I got one fine woman who has a job, and she's smart, and she has a Jeep, and she has a mentality, to want to give them a run for their money. And all I need is one spare woman, out of how many here, on this planet, that might wake up and decide that, hey, that's who I'm going to go hang with. And she'll go get a Jeep, And my ultimate hope is that, I'll get a Jeep, an older Jeep, that don't have all this modern technology on it. That's nice. It's in nice condition, like my wife's Jeep is. Hers is 2008. But I want one from the era, maybe even from back when they had points. Those, you have to be old to know what I'm talking about. Points in the distributor. Yeah, it's been a long time since you see some points, right? But you can buy some spare points. If it's a Mopar vehicle, you're gonna need a spare ballast resistor, because those blow out and then it'll start, but then it'll quit as soon as it starts. That's the ballast resistor on old Mopars. So, and those are relatively inexpensive, and you should always have a spare one in your glove box. If you look on your firewall under your hood, and there's a ballast resistor. It looks like this ceramic, little ceramic bar. And it's got like a curly wire in it. That's a external ballast resistor, and they blow out pretty easy, but they're easy to diagnose. If your Mopar starts and then it quits, and you have a ballast resistor, your ballast resistor is blown. Don't bypass it. Just buy another one and replace it, and buy a spare one to throw in your glove box for the next time it happens, because it's common for those to blow out. But you see, if you got a spare ballast resistor, if you got some spare points, they can't remotely do a whole lot to your vehicle. You see, especially if you create a under the hood Faraday box for your battery, which I'm looking into possibilities of doing that. But I don't like these newer vehicles. They've got all this technology. They got a computer, all these sensors. Everything's talking everything. So, that's why I wanted the older Jeep. And I thought maybe between the two women, I know they'll have newer, nicer, more modern Jeeps. Maybe I might get put in, an older Jeep, where at least we have the older Jeep if they manage to take out the newer Jeeps, right? And, that was my mentality on that. It'd be nice to find an older Jeep with a V8. It's got points. At the newest, best, it's got electronic ignition, and you can have spare electronic ignition parts in your glove box if you need them. But it's easier and better to have points, and for everything to be mechanical and as few electronics as possible. And that was my thought on that. If you have some spare points and a spare ballast resistor in the glove box, you're pretty much good to go. You got some spare plugs, some spare wires. See, there's very little electronics to the motor. The less electronics to the motor, the better, for this situation. And then, it's like there's two tracks everywhere, and there's the ability to survive, on the fly. It's only going to be a 5-month thing. Well, I'm thinking 3 to 7 months. It's a growing season, okay? And they're going to take us before him, the imposter Christ. And the longest they'll keep us incarcerated is 10 days, but they won't harm us. And when we go in front of him, we're to, let the Holy Spirit speak through us, like freestyle rap, so to speak, against him. And, have the courage to do that. Don't be afraid to do it, because if you fail to do that, then you've committed the unpardonable sin of the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. It can only be committed at that moment when you're standing before the imposter Christ. And it can only be committed by the end-time elect who do not fall for the psyops that he is the Christ. You see? So, that right there is something to keep in consideration. That you're supposed to try and survive and give them a run for their money. But you're not supposed to be afraid of them, because by then the government is different. They're not a killer government anymore. They're provide for the people government. And that's why they have so much cooperation from the population. And that's why everybody that you come in contact with, that they're able to survive and eat easy, because they're able to trade, because they've taken the mark of commerce, right? It's going to be a mark of commerce where you can't buy, sell, or trade without having this provisional commerce mark. Now, if you don't have the mark of commerce, and if they have the mark of commerce, then you have to be concerned that they're going to turn you over to the government that they love so much to save you, because you're delusional. They think you're the one that's deluded. You see? And it's like, then when Christ comes back, he comes at a time when we look not for him. Yeah, because everybody thinks he's already here, except for the end time elect. Now, that's how that's clarified. Yeah, oh baby, wear me out. Oh shit. Yeah, I've been having some hard days. I got a rocket like this that it's froze shut. Can't open it right now because it's full of res. Had to I literally had to break it. My little elephant pipe my son gave me to scrape the res out of it. And I still got pieces of it that I could probably get me a whole nother pipe full of res. Heat it up the outside and then scrape the inside out. And it breaks off. Some of it just breaks off like shale as it's cooling off. And then you just roll that up into a res ball and put it in the rocket, and smoke that. And when there's no weed, you see. So I've been having to do that. It's been hard. There's been no food for days, stuff like that. And then it's like, it's heartbreaking when you think that somebody, you're already in that situation, and they may be stupid enough to betray you, let somebody else, fuck them in their ass or something behind your back to further divide your house. And it's like, why would somebody do that? Is it like, it's gotta be dope, like a dope fiend move, right? I mean, isn't that what you'd think? So, it's like, yeah, that's another way they wear the saints out, is with betrayal, friend betrayal, family betrayal. But, then I get the vision, hey, at any given time, I could cause to find you your soulmate, the person that's supposed to find you and come hang with you and walk out these final phase moments of your life, which I've got to be reaching the end of it, you see. I mean, I know I look good, but I feel like shit. Yeah. And I don't really foresee myself lasting too much longer. And it's not a sad thing. It's cycle of life. Everybody expires, And I didn't really bring honor to my mother and my father. I tried. I had the mentality to try, unlike some of my siblings. And I don't know if that's going to be accounted for anything or not. I'm not trying to live a long life if I'm going to live a hard life like this, And it's been hard. The whole thing has been hard. No license, being emasculated compared to other guys that are beneath me. They don't got the mentality to abstain. And here I have aversions to alcohol and chemicals I have had for years. And I can't get credit for the fact that, hey, well, the issue you had, the alcohol, that's a non-issue. And it's like, okay, now you want to make an issue out of my religious beliefs that I should be able to smoke some marijuana to, defeat my ills rather than, pop pills and become disassociated and, sick. It's like I get swirly and sick from the Tylenols, from the Oxys, and from the fucking Vicodins. They make me sick, man. So it's like, the marijuana doesn't do that to me. I just don't understand why they would hate it so bad. When it's so effective, it's so obviously effective, and the other things aren't, but yet they want to force them on me. Like they forced that kid, that little 17-year-old kid, to have to take chemo. It's like, when she turns 18, I'd be getting me some lawyers and suing. And one day, this is a warning to, you white devils, Ojabina, Kyle Legal, if you ain't gonna get up and try and help me, I paid you. You just gonna leave it like this? And Chris Seeger, this is a warning to you. I'm gonna sue. Eventually I'm gonna find a lawyer. Someone to see me, and it's like, or they'll see the female version of me, if it's a dude or whatever. And I don't care how perverted they are, and I don't care, how long I have to commit to bend over and let them fuck me in my ass if I have to commit to it for the rest of my life. It's a matter of principle. I'm going to get a lawyer one day that's going to help me sue you for this unnecessary suffering you're putting me through. Okay? For besmirching, for violating law and putting my health care on the table and using that as the means to witch hunt me and deprive me of my driver's license. You can't do that. That's a violation of HIPAA laws. So eventually I'm going to find a lawyer that will, that will help me do this, to help me sue you. I'm going to sue. I'm going to sue Catholic Human Services for what Chris Seeger did to me. How she went out of her way to jam me up with her little report, her evaluation. And I'm going to sue Secretary of State for what Ojabina did to me, right? Because she violated law when she disregarded scientific fact, over somebody's opinion. It's opinion. An evaluation is an opinion. If I go see 3 different evaluators, I'm going to have 3 separate opinions, all of them opposing. So it's like, you cannot take somebody's opinion over scientific fact. Let it override it. It was a violation of law, and it's also a violation of my religious beliefs, the marijuana thing, on top of it. And then it's a violation of my religious beliefs to tell me, to dictate to me that I have to go to these meetings and confess out of my mouth lies that, I'm powerless over something. I'm not powerless over anything. And to dictate to me that I have to go interact with an element of people that I despise. I want to kill people that are so weak that they gotta make dope their focus of their life. Every day they're talking about it. Oh, my need, and it's like, we're told by God to whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are of a good report. Think on these things. We're not told to think about dope all the time. You're not going to tell me to violate my religious beliefs and think about dope all the time. To give you a little piece of paper that says that I bent over and I let you run your fist up in my ass because you're a massive fucking bull dyke. You bull dyke, man-hating, white devil bitch. You're a white devil. Your parents were white devils. Chris Seeger, the doctors in your family who they're part of this psyops against marijuana, they're white devils. They're not only quacks, they're minions of corrupt terrorists posing as government. And they've been there since the Lincoln era. It's nothing new. And it's like they're controlled by sub-spirits. Spirits that didn't know that when they break this little mechanism with their CERN, that they break themselves. They're so stupid. And maybe they're suicidal now that they know they're never going to get bodies except for being time-looped in the bodies of those they cause to suffer with their manipulations and influence. Wait till their time looped as Jesus, the first one they caused to be tortured unchecked. Yeah, Lucifer was taken out of the way by then, so they were unchecked. And they sure made a point of, flexing their muscles and showing their power that day, didn't they? Yeah, well, now they get to be time looped as him. They get to be time looped as the Jews. So do these freaks that signed on to this regime. That's the parable of, you hired on at the end of the day and still got paid the whole penny for the day. That's what that parable was a warning about. People didn't understand it. You sign on to their regime even at the last minute. You signed up. Their regime has been doing shit. They did shit to the Jews. They're responsible for the Holocaust. The people in power in America, the British Columbia and all this stuff, the District of Columbia, the Queens District of Columbia, all these freaks are going to be time looped as the Jews even that they caused to suffer. Not to mention all the other things, the things that don't get reported by the propagandists and the sensationalists posing as reporters and journalists, right? Because they're busy pumping that propaganda out to cover up for them, you see? Imagine how many rich families are never going to be born due to this. And you can't wake any of them up to care and want to balance the scales, want to get it in their spirit memory that, oh my God, I want to backpedal this shit as much as possible and invest as much resources and time of their life as they can, serving the proper side, while there's still a few moments left to do it. So it's like, I don't know if the propagandists have managed to stop any of them who would awaken and repent, which repentance is not to say, oh, I'm sorry. It's to turn around and go the other way. That's repentance. It means turn around. Right? And maybe they're blocking them from getting the information. Maybe they're blocking them from accepting it as reality. Or maybe they're just, they become reprobate minded and soulless, and they're never going to wake up, and they're never going to repent, and it's part of the play that their whole bloodline is wiped out and that there's nothing redeemed, as far back as it started, right? In some bloodlines you got to go as far back as the first person who started a bank in their bloodline, things like that, to purge the mechanism and the cosmos of their infection, you see. So it's about restore points. And it's amazing that some of those who know the most about restore points are going to be gone when this thing is restored. So, who's getting more out here? Some of us still going to exist after all this, while those who doing the wearing, you don't exist, fool. So it's like, you're the one who should be wore out. You should be thinking about this. Oh my God, I caused this and I caused that. Now I'm gonna be time looped as those victims. You should be wore out with if you had it, the sense God gave a rock, you'd be wore out with worry. For real. I ain't worried, because my life has been applied to fighting against this, defiling of the mechanism, defiling of the planet, defiling of innocence, disregarding unnecessary suffering. It's one thing for it to be happening. It's another thing for just nobody to care. You see? So it's like, it's happening to me right now, and they don't nobody care. But, I'm sure that there's an exception to the rule. Like, if I have copped the mentality that, all women must just be nasty little dope hoes who let strangers fuck them in their ass behind their husband's back while their family starves. It's like, there's got to be exceptions to that rule, even if that is the rule. So, eventually, something may break through where there's a connection. And she'll know that, hey, yeah, I'm supposed to be hooked up with him. You see? So, I don't know. I ain't even putting a gender on it. There ain't no race on it. But I ain't putting a gender on it either, because it may not be like that, It may be like, maybe the desires of my heart is to find somebody who is male. And I just don't know it, but God knows it, right? You see? Oh, no, I just associate God to gayness. Yeah. And what are you associated to? Maybe me and my gay buddy get a whole lot more done towards stopping unnecessary suffering than you and your whole church full of little hetero, straight little, fag bashers, right? There's a thought. What are you associated to, besides hating people who fucking play with their peepees with other dudes? That's what I don't get. What is it to you? If the people are of age, what is it to you? It shouldn't be an issue. Nobody should be talking about anybody else's sexuality unless, like, it's negatively affecting somebody. Like if it's adultery, a compound sin, which is, it's putting deception on your sin to commit your fornication. Or if it's pedophilia or rape, something like that. So then, yeah, or bestiality. Then, yeah, something's being victimized, and you should care. But if it's just a couple fags or a couple lesbians, well, that's none of your business. That's no more any of your business than it is your business what a married couple's doing in their bed. And if they got dildos or whips or whatever, that's none of your business. You see? So it's like, wake the fuck up and realize what you've been distracted from with chauvinistic translations that you were warned about by the translators. And if you don't believe me, crack open a 1611 version of the King James Version Bible and read it for yourself in the prologue from the translators, how they warned you that at the time they did not even have proper descriptives to translate the languages to the English language. But we're going to take a stab at it anyway in so many words, because the king told us to do it in so many words. So there you have it. It's like, that's facts. And a lot of it's chauvinistic, but that was a chauvinistic era. And here, I mean, women were wenches. They were, they had the mentality that women were to serve the men. You see, there's some retards that have that mentality now. They don't see them the way God meant them to be, as companions, in some cases more than equal. It's like people have misperceptions. They see somebody fat and they automatically think that they're gluttonous. And I know, that in situations where my wife and I have been hungry and there's not been enough food, she'll be the one who will do without something, just won't eat, to make sure that I have enough to eat. It's like she's like that. So it's like, okay, well, if fat people are so gluttonous, why would she make them kind of sacrifices where, she'll be the one, she'll eat less, or she'll pretend like she's not hungry, or she'll pretend like she's not, or like she's sick to her stomach and she can't eat, just to get more food than me, and because she knows that I have the mentality I won't eat if she won't eat, but she always manages to trick me into, always did, we were together. We're not together now. We're separated, but I've been taking a lot of help from her, especially lately, because I was already supposed to be on my own. I was already supposed to have my job. I was already supposed to have my license back, and I'm not supposed to still be doing this where I'm homeless and I'm broke. I'm getting by on less in a month than I used to make in a week. It's like, come on, man. It's hell. It's got to end, and it's like, I need help. I need to get my license back, and one day I'm going to get me a lawyer to help me sue. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to get money from you. I'm going to get you fired. Because what you did, Ojabina, you screechy monster bitch, you horrible fucking man-hater, you committed a fucking crime. With your power. You abused your power. You disregarded scientific fact. Yeah. And you, unlawfully deprived me of, my lawful right to my own pursuit of happiness and my right to be a law-abiding citizen, right? You see? And my right to have a job instead of being on SSI. Depriving me, right? Oh, you are so powerful. Yeah, but did the devils that it attract to your life and your family, was it worth it? The negative karma, the evil, huh? Yeah, is it worth it? Is it worth it? You need to think about it. You violently assault my life every moment of every day. I don't have a driver's license. Devils shouldn't be assaulting you and your family now? Really? Why not? Because you had the power and you think you were right? Well, you were wrong. Why don't you grow a sense of shame, fucking, and a sense of pride in your craft and be like, you know what? I was wrong on this guy. I've watched some of his videos and he has integrity and I violated the law. If you look at it, from any lawful perspective, I violated the law. He's got a lawsuit. I should give him his license back, full license, and hope like hell he doesn't fucking sue me. Yeah, I've been expecting a fucking letter of of restoration any day. Expecting somebody to grow a sense of shame in the Michigan Secretary of State and realize what Ojabina did was a bull-like fucking move. Yeah, pull your fucking fist out of my ass, bitch. You got your fucking jollies now. It's time to stop playing with yourself, thinking about how I can't have my life every day. Fucking get on with your life and let me get on with mine. I'm done playing with you. And I'm sure the spirits fucking have had their fucking jollies with you. And they'll just keep playing. They're not going to stop playing until you stop playing with me. Hear that, Seeger? Hear that, Kyle Legal? Hear that, Ojabina? Spiritual warfare. You fucking hinder me, they will fuck with you. And it's just gonna stay that way. I don't care. And it can hit the whole Michigan Secretary of State. It can hit the government all the way up to the tippy top, the top federal government that won't do nothing about this shit that Michigan's doing to me. I don't care. My agendas are being hindered. Why shouldn't their agendas be hindered, right? So maybe God needed this. Okay, you're gonna fuck with mine, I'm gonna fuck with yours. All right? Maybe he needed it. The intent. Oh, we're gonna sit back and giggle. Watch this guy make these videos. Watch him dress up like a woman and make his videos about emasculation and have his little emasculation contest. Yeah, well, someday something's gonna fucking break. And it ain't gonna be what y'all want. And then you're just gonna have to give up. You're gonna have to give it up. You don't get it over me no more. Yeah, that's what I'm sticking it out for. That's my revenge, baby.